You are listening to Indie Soul Rhythms with Moochie Alfonso.
It's good for us, and it's good for me, yeah.
The show that brings you the very best in indie soul. It's probably the grooviest show on the planet.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Sam Priest, and I am hanging out with the soul brother himself, Moochie Alfonso, on the Indie Soul Rhythms. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the grooviest show on the planet. So hang out there and stay tuned, because we about to give you the funk and the groove that you need.
Welcome to Indie Soul Rhythms. We have with us today multi-talented singer and actor Keith Robinson with us. Keith, you have a remarkable journey that spans across different states and industries. Born in Bowling Green, Kentucky, with your early years in Greenville, South Carolina, and Somerset in Athens, Georgia. So your background is very diverse, as well as your career. We're thrilled to have you here. And
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I'm sure our listeners can't wait to hear your story. Shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Excellent. So let's start from your formative years. How did you grow up so growing up in the South, how did that influence your musical and acting aspirations?
Well, my mother was a singer early on as a child, so she always had a beautiful voice. And my brother was heavy into I'm a hip hop baby, so he was heavy into hip hop, heavy into R&B. So anything that was hot on the streets, my brother usually had a copy of it. So music was always in the house playing. My mother was musical, so it was either basketball or we were watching videos, or just a typical childhood heavily influenced by music.
Mm-hmm. And how did spending time in Atlanta also shape your career?
Well, Atlanta is a huge music town. I mean, especially R&B. I mean, I call it the second Motown from back in the days when Detroit was. It's kind of like that, especially in the hip hop and R&B. So everyone is in a group. There's talent shows, and there's a lot of great artists that came out of there. This is around time when I was a kid. The Face Records was huge. Bobby Brown was there. Criss Cross, Jermaine Dupri. I mean, everybody you name that was hot was kind of right in the same city. So you couldn't help but pick up that energy.
Amazing. Yeah. You mentioned Motown Records there. You had your first record deal with Motown, and what was that experience like, and how did it
I did, it kind of got me into the weeds of the business. Once you have that deal, then you realize it's a business and you really have to start learning. So it was kind of short-lived. I was in a group. We were at the University of Georgia, and we kind of got discovered in one of those talent shows that I was telling you about. Yeah. And we signed to a huge concert promoter who had a production deal with Motown. So we got a few songs into the album. Then it was a huge executive shift where all the different executives leave and have a whole new genre come in. So we kind of got caught in that wave. Yeah. But, it made us really hungry to find a successful deal and venture out and make this a career. So we left Georgia. That kind of introduced us to Los Angeles.
Wow. I've always known you as an actor. I actually didn't know that you did music. Because one of my all-time favorites, This Christmas. What was the experience like working with actors such as Idris Elba, Chris Brown, Regina King?
It was great. I mean, everybody. It was a good family. I mean, all of us were kind of starting off, kind of just at the beginning of our arc, or coming off of something big. So we were kind of all in the same lane and the same energy in that respect. So, we look back, we didn't know we were making a Christmas classic, but now I guess it is. I mean, because people approach me about that movie probably more than any project I've ever done.
I can believe that, because that's like our Christmas movie. We watch that almost every Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. Talking about acting, you've also been in the Dream Girls, Power Rangers, Fat Albert, and the Tupac biopic, which was All Eyes on Me. What have been some of your highlights with regards to acting?
I think you named a few of them. Of course, Dreamgirls is great. That's another classic movie. Yeah. Getting a chance to perform myself and Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson and Anika Noni Rose at the Oscars was definitely a benchmark in my career. I never saw myself singing at the Oscars, so that was a good night.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's many experience. Every experience is always has its own life and things that I remember and cherish from each ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And were there any nuggets you would say you took from each experience?
I think they're nuggets from every experience, from every artist, how they work, how they prepare,
Mm.
expectations, kind of learning to be prepared and ready for whatever the project entails, before, during, and after.
Yeah.
Um, but just you pick up on different people's work processes, and you kind of incorporate them into your own, even in your music. So, because a
Yeah.
lot of the projects I've done have been music affiliated,
Mm.
so that's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. And you've also been Oscar nominated as a vocalist. Can you
Yes,
tell us about that experience and what it meant to you?
that was fantastic. Totally out of the blue. I mean, there was on the Dream Girl soundtrack, there were four songs there were three new songs that we added for the movie that weren't in the Broadway show.
Yeah.
So a song called Patience that I performed along with Anika Noni Rose and Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
got nominated along with Beyonce's Listen and Jennifer's Love You I Do. So um, that was great, man. That was the icing on the cake for that entire project, to be honest
Sure.
with you.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, your journey includes personal highs and lows, such as the
Yeah.
birth of your son and surviving the
Yeah.
global pandemic. How have these experiences shaped your outlook on life and your career?
I think the pandemic and my son kind of wrote this whole second album because there was a lot going
Mm.
on at the time. Of course, my son was born in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the greatest and worst of times in a lot of ways. So that inspires a lot of music, a lot of songs. So when you hear this album, I think every song I can kind of picture what space I was in that day or that particular month because
Yeah.
everybody was so dialed into what was going on outside. So
Sure.
that influenced me, my pen, heavy.
Wow. So yeah, talking about that. So your single, the new single, We Got Something.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What influenced it and what is it about?
We got something is a special song on my album because it's probably the only song that I didn't write
Right.
particularly about me, but I wrote it about one of my characters in a TV show that I play
All right.
called Saints and Sinners. I played the role of this guy named Miles, who I did a lot of music for the show for, but I wrote this song from his perspective because he was kind of a wayward guy. He had a wife, he had a side chick, he had them both pregnant. He was in and out of church, into the
Yeah.
secular world. He was a guy that was going through changes, and he found someone in the storyline, another woman who accepted him and all of his baggage and kind of reignited his love and his of life. And just so that's what that song is.
Talks
We
about.
got something. He's talking about her,
Wow.
thanking her for kind of bringing him back to life.
Awesome. That's amazing. I never thought that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so you can
amazing.
go back and watch the episode where I
Yeah.
performed the song in that episode.
Yeah. Then it'll
Yeah,
probably make sense. Yeah. Yeah. I
it'll
guess.
make total sense now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a couple of
So
questions. Sorry. Go
go
on.
ahead.
Go on. Go on.
No, so when I released it, when it played on the show, people were asking me, when are you going to release it? And I finally said, I'm going to go ahead and release it. And I did. And it kind of took off, took a life of its own.
Sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I got a couple of fun questions.
Okay.
What's the worst piece of advice you've ever got?
For me, I would say have a plan B
Mm,
because I feel like in this business or whatever it is, you got to burn the ships. You
sure.
can't put a deadline on when you're going to make it. You got to be in it 100% or not because you can't lukewarm it because it's a tough grind. It's a worthy grind, but it's a tough one. So
Mm,
you got to be in it and no looking back. So plan B is like, you got a plan B, you're probably going to end up using it.
sure. That's wise words there. And my second question is there any person you would trade places with for a day?
Interesting. I'm sorry about the sirens. I'm outside.
No, no, it's okay.
Who would I trade places with for one day? Huh. Uh, I don't think I'd trade places with anybody. I'm grateful for my life and who I am. I'm always going to bet on myself. Now, there's some things that other people may have
Yeah,
that I would like to trade.
yeah.
Let me get one of those houses. Let me get the private jet. Let me trade that for a day. But I'm gonna ride with me on that one.
I like that. I like that. yeah, you're probably like the fifth person who said that to me, that they won't trade
Okay.
places with anyone. They'll, they like their life.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your journey is truly inspiring. What
Thank you.
advice would you give to aspiring musicians or actors who look up to you?
I would tell them to learn their craft, stay consistent. Try not to attach your soul to the ebb and the flow of the business and what happens, because there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs.
Mm.
Stay attached to the dream. Whatever happens, whatever's going on around you is going on, but stay attached to your dream. And man, burn that plan B. Let's go. Head first.
Oh, thank you for sharing your incredible journey with us, Keith. And
No doubt, man.
any final words for our listeners?
Thank you for listening. Thanks for having me, bro. We Got Something is the new single on all platforms. Hopefully I'll be on that side of the pond sooner than later with you guys live. I would love to do that.
Yeah, we'll
And
look forward to that.
God bless, man. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Wise words. And thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on Indie Soul Rhythms. But before we let you go, can you do us the honor of introducing your single, We Got Something?
Yes, this is Keith D. Robinson live. This is my brand new single, We Got Something.
I've been caught up on so many times. I took hearts and committed crimes, but you didn't judge me. You just love me. All of those talks when I wasn't right. I pulled up in the little night, and you didn't shun me. Now, like you was above me. Nah, I was beginning to think I ran out of time and blew my chance I never would find. I'm glad to call you mine. I was beginning to feel my indecision would leave me lonely, having no one. I'm glad you're in my life. Like sun on a rainy day. Our first kiss was a great escape. I knew we got something. Come on, we got something. Like rope over quicksand. You rescued me from sinking in. I know we got something. Come on, we got something. You never doubted a second chance. You're so good.